Hello, friends and adventurers, and welcome back to Sally Cat Plays Blades of Exile. Surprise! I am back in the storage level. I did some poking around off camera, and look what I found. What luck! Among the endless rows of meaningless, rotting paperwork, you find a spellbook, which must have been misfiled. You flip through it for a bit. It's very well written. You don't have any trouble understanding it. Soon, you've committed the arcane instructions to memory. You now know the spell, Wall of Ice. Well, there's one of the level 4 mage spells that I was complaining about not having earlier. This enormous holding area has grown cold and quiet since you were last here. Pythras obviously lost no time in escaping. She certainly didn't stay behind to give you any thanks. I am quite okay with that. So, let me think here. Oh, I made all that fuss over getting the Drake Fang last episode, and then I didn't bother giving it back to the Drake that wanted it. I should probably fix that. All the zombies have respawned. And Thistle says, thank you for the XP. Since the Drake's reasonably close to this area anyway. Also, I did go back and grab the weapons that were in this little cubby. Mostly they weren't great, but Thistle did get a slight upgrade to an iron mace. Not that she can hit very much with it right now. Also, I misremembered. The Drake Fang here is not black. I was thinking of Avernum's. When you approach, Zorva sniffs the air eagerly. Whatever he smells, it pleases him. He runs up to you. You are having the Fang? Yes? You pull it out and show it to him. Wondrous, he responds. I knew I was smelling it. Be giving it? Yes? You hand it over. Excellent. Now for your reward. Be listening. He begins to say a series of magical instructions in his thick, reptilian accent. You listen carefully, picking up as much of it as you can. You now know the spells Ice Bolt and Slow Group. Yes! Two of the more useful 4th level mage spells. Then, his debt discharged, Zorva bends down and eats the Drake Fang. It takes a while and involves a bit of gnawing. Then, this done, he flies off without a word. You are alone. You return to the spot where you met the Drake. He still hasn't returned. Nothing is left to mark his presence but a few tracks and some carelessly shedded scales. Knew I got Ice Bolt somewhere in this scenario. Also, if anyone is wondering, this cave entrance does not open until you discover it from the inside. So no cheesing the scenario that way. Underestimating spirits and living to regret it. On the other hand, I got a few more levels from that, so that was cool. And the river is going to disease me again. Bleh. So let's see what there is to discover in the mysterious student quarters. You step through the open gates into the lower section of the School of Magery, where all the serious learning and research took place. The air is fresher here, if dustier, and it's a relief to leave the airborne poisons of the earlier caves behind. Although this area has been abandoned by its former owners, it is nowhere near unoccupied. You hear shrill, demonic screeches of laughter to the south, which don't bode well for your travels. Refuse is everywhere, and what were once lovely frescoes on the walls have been scratched into unrecognizability. The current residents of the school don't seem to feel like keeping things neat. It has seemed that any long-lived creature which doesn't need to eat much has thrived while in the magical atmosphere of the school. It will probably be tough going from here on in. Check-in chambers. Hi, you're a new thing. This is a new breed of gremlin, wearing a very dapper pink suit. Apparently this one can throw darts at me. Still not terribly strong. Potentially annoying. And more glowy green gates. I want to know how to open you. Although the desk is empty, you notice that there's a small piece of paper crumpled underneath it. It reads, "Don't forget, caretaker key left with Provost, healing scepter still with Apothecary. Be sure to recover. If only we were given more time. Vinio will have my head if they're left. Be sure not to forget." So Provost and Apothecary are worth checking out. Surrender that of the outside world before entering. Even more gremlins. This guy splits when hit. That could be annoying. Then again, he's only got 10 health, so... Okay, the green ones breathe fire. That's considerably more annoying than someone who goes down in 1 or 2 hits. A little bit tougher, too. Ah, the fire breath isn't actually specified under the abilities. You'd think they would mention that somewhere. And it's the classic purple gremlin that steals food. Die. Yeah, monsters that split on receiving damage can be annoying, but when it only creates 1 extra monster, not that bad. And the gremlins are less neat than the goblins. Admin and Provost south, Apothecary and Shrine north. Well, I know where we should investigate soon. Someone has cast quite a spell on these doors. The walls to either side of them melted, and the stone flowed like water over their edges, solidifying in bars of rock, 5 inches thick. These doors are sealed. You'll have to find another way through. Common Hall. Okay. First years. What is a Vanitai robe doing in here? And will it block more damage than the robe I already have? Yes, it will. Blurg. Here is yet another area that was blown up before the school was abandoned. You haven't a clue what these rooms were used for. The destroyers were thorough. And we're pretty sure it wasn't the gremlins. Also, I got my 4th level spells. Let me proceed to ignore them. Because Fireball is just so good. Only 2 gremlins, but I can always go outside and rest. Wait, Gremlin and Gremlord? That's a new one. Gremlord. Significantly more health than the standard gremlin. Steals food when hits. Death triggers global special. Also 2 levels of mage spells. Slightly annoying. You have slain the ferocious, peculiar Gremlord. That's another mess left behind by the masters of the School of Magery that you've had to clean up. Hey, level up! I could use a wound spell, but Turn Undead is available for this thing, and a little cheaper. So yeah, the Gremlord honestly wasn't that impressive, but I really like the name. The books on these shelves were burned to bits by several well-placed flame spells. Aww. So yeah, Gremlord, a good name to call anyone you don't like on the internet. Locked door. Potential empty spot. Also, I wouldn't have thought students were expected to have that much gold lying around in their dresser drawers. Candle. Delightful. Nothing in here. Maybe that's just a blank spot of nothing, because I don't see any destructible walls. Also, do I have True Sight? Oh, I do, actually. Pfft. There's a couple spots where I could have been using that. Okay, yeah, there's nothing there. Any food left after 120-odd years? And lots of gremlins? Of course not. This door is locked. There is a silver keyhole, but you have no key that fits. Considering the power of the mages who sealed this portal, you aren't optimistic about your ability to open it. Maybe we can find that caretaker's key that was mentioned. He stole 11 food. How dare. He breathed fire on me. How dare. He's up there. Okay. Third year. This area contains the cells where the third-year apprentices spent their traditional year of silence, privation, and quiet thought. This area looks far too enclosed and boring for the gremlins to live here. Okay, so maybe the first years are allowed some material comforts, and the third years are the ones that spend their time in silence and meditation. the gremlins may not spend a lot of time here, but there's a few of them wandering about. Ha, I thought that wall was suspicious. Crate. Crate with gold. Okay. I wonder if the mage students, back when there were any, would ever sneak out and go to town for stuff. Because otherwise, I don't know what they would really use gold for within the school. Unless there's like a commissary or something. Oh, hello. The bookshelves in this room don't contain the spell books and dry magical tomes you've come to expect. Instead, they seem to contain fiction and other works of a lighter nature. Access to this room was probably a reward for third-year students, or a brief respite from the ceaseless privations of being an apprentice here. One of the books on this bookshelf looks useful, the rest being moldy, esoteric, or pieces of amusing fiction. It's a book of magic, probably left here by a careless student. You can't understand the title. Alas, you can't understand the magical script inside. Maybe, if you had taken a few classes here, it would have made more sense. May need to train up my mage lore. And these doors are also mega sealed. I wonder why the common hall is so thoroughly locked. Records and secretarial. Whose door is locked but not magically. The desk is empty. Also empty. And also empty. Examination chamber. With notable bloodstains on the floor. Okay, what the heck kind of examinations were going on in here? And what have the gremlins been doing since? Discipline. And for some reason, there is gold ore in the discipline room. Gremlins are weird. Provost. And for such an important door, again, not magically locked. The desk is empty. Let's check the shelves. Most of the books, journals, and scrolls on these shelves have rotted away. The few that remain readable are useless to you, mainly forms and records. As you pull one book out, however, a shiny item falls to the floor with a metallic ring. You bend down to inspect it. It's a small silver key. Goody. Silver key. You found the silver key in the provost's office. You would imagine it fits in a door somewhere. Also, the Drake Fang should not be in my special items inventory anymore. And the Crystal of Power I'm pretty sure I should not have yet. Might be a bug or two in here. You stop that. Ooh, that was a mighty blow. Just to make sure... Yeah, that is a gremlin standing on a bloodstain. You know what? Ice Bolt. Still not enough. Apothecary. More dorms for first years. Some gems which may or may not be worth anything. This book contains records of the students led into the infirmary, and the cause of the injuries that placed them there. The number placed here because of magical accidents is quite telling. The Gremlins didn't tear this book up, although it shows signs that they flipped through it frequently. This is probably because they found reading it to be very amusing. Okay, so that's an apothecary, but nothing resembling a staff of healing. However, we got some potions. Oh, come now. Please? Aw. Out of spell points. Yeah. You find a locked door with a silver keyhole. You try the silver key you found nearby in the lock, and it fits. The door is now unlocked. Okay, I see a couple more swanky thrones. And a book of some sort. Tome of Knowledge! Gain or lose experience. Ooh, so it's like Knowledge Brew, but in book form. That could be quite handy indeed. Well, the common hall itself isn't so interesting, but the stairways leading down from it might be. So is there anything... Well, somewhat unfortunately, I do have to go the long way around for poking in here. Aha, there is something hidden. Transcripts. We've got another book, a scroll. At one time, the transcripts and student records in this chamber needed to be well hidden and guarded. Nobody cares anymore, of course, but hidden they remain. Yeah, no one cares about the permanent records of people who are long dead. Okay, let's try this door once or twice more. Please? Finally. And yes, the priest spells do include a light spell. And apothecary has more goodies. It feels somewhat odd that this secret passage was already revealed. Well, hello there. Heh. That is a lot of burning floor. On a polished marble pedestal, you find a small scepter, resting on a pillow of velvet. It's not an impressive object, merely a piece of polished and varnished driftwood with a piece of rose quartz set in one end. Despite its unassuming appearance, you can't help but believe an object so well hidden must have at least a small value. The scepter is slightly warm to the touch, and feels solid and reassuring in your hand. Whatever it is, it's now yours. It is a special item, the Healing Scepter. This is a bronze scepter with fittings of gold, about 2 feet long. A large, somewhat flawed opal is set into it at one end. For some reason, the description here is completely different from the other description. I think I prefer the driftwood and rose quartz version. So I'm just going to pretend that's it. You wave the scepter and a warm light emerges from its tip. As the light washes over you, you feel a pleasant tingling sensation. Well, it doesn't heal my hit points, but what it actually does is help cure disease. Starting to think maybe I should give the ruby charm to Margot. Phew! Okay, as eager as I am to start exploring the lower levels of the school, I really do need to go back to town and rest up, buy more food, get stuff identified, that sort of thing. Get coated with poisonous water, etc. But now I can show off Healing Scepter. No more disease! So I can turn that into the Mayor of Morales, but I'm not going to for a little while. Because it is just so convenient for navigating that awful cave. Anyway, you all know the drill by now. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, have a good one, everybody.